Martin Lappin here with Alternative Heating Solutions. And spring has pretty much sprung here. The other day we had some huge flocks of sandhill cranes flying into the scenic Potato Creek State Park across the road from me. And I've had numerous texts, calls, instant messages. They all go along the lines of my stove's been running for a day and it won't catch up. Water's 160, won't get any warmer. I needed a bigger stove. Well, no you didn't, because it kept up a few weeks ago when it was a lot colder. And the issue I've run into so far, I even did one to where the ashes were halfway up the plug and went back. And I guarantee you that was all full when I pulled the plug. If it starts to build up out here, it restricts the flow. Restricts the flow, ash starts to build up, just like a snowdrift. You got to clean your stoves once in a while, people. I do it every Sunday, period, whether it needs it or not. Some people claim they can get by a month. Well, that's fine. But my theory is, ash is a good insulator, so the less ash you have in it, the better the heat transfer and the less wood you're going to burn. And I can guarantee you, the people that's had that, when it will not run right, you open up the back of their stove and it's not going to be clean and dry like that. They just made a whole bunch of creosote that last 12 hours or 24 when it wasn't running correctly. It comes down to nothing more. You got to clean your ashes out. It's not a design flaw on Heatmaster's part. It's an end user flaw, or an ID10T error. I've also seen it to where the ashes were halfway up the side panels. And you can tell. Right along here, there'd be a creosote line. Creosote runs down the wall, hits that layer of ash, and it solidifies. So no, you are not keeping up with the ashes that well. To get that high, you're going to plug the little holes in the bottom. You start plugging stuff, you're going to start restricting flow. If it don't have flow, it can't burn right. Not that difficult concept. Should also, I said it in another video, the tools that Heatmaster supplies are great for cleaning ash. I don't like them for in the actual firebox when it's running. Something like this, you can keep it stirred up, yet you don't destroy your coals. And that's the other thing. Your ashes should always be loose and fluffy like that. Should never be packed hard like cement. You gotta stir them. I do that every time I load. Keep it stirred, keep them loose, and they'll find their way out. And I don't know if it's just the winter. It's not just the new model of stove. I did a service call on G200. Had to reflash the program because it didn't always kick the fan on when you opened the bypass. So reflashed it, restarted it, and then went and seen what the guy's doing in his shop for his latest business venture. And it, half hour later, it still wasn't coming up to temp. So open the bottom up, and if you're familiar with the older G's, they had that horseshoe shaped refractory at the bottom instead of this new one. And if you'd had another inch of ash in there, you'd had the nozzle completely plugged. Cleaned it out, and it took right off, and the water temperature came up. So it doesn't matter what brand, what color, where they're made. You got to keep up on your weekly maintenance. Part of that maintenance is cleaning the ashes. Again, I do it every Sunday. If you keep up with it, take you less than 5 minutes to do it. I got another video up. Took less than 5 minutes to completely clean the ashes out, and that was like the first time I've done it. Once you do it regularly, it gets a lot easier and faster. It is a policy of ours here at Alternative Heating Solutions that if you buy your stove from us, the first season of service calls are free in case you have issues. That was intended more for an actual manufacturing flaw, not user error. If it continues, we may have to revisit the policy and do away with free service calls if all I'm going to do is show up and clean your ashes for you. This has been Martin Lappin of Alternative Heating Solutions. And as always, women don't find you handsome, at least they can find you handy.